This week on the Squatchers Lounge podcast, David and the Reverend Jeff take on a really tough topic, one without much info. That's our time to shine. Luckily for the rest of us, we have Portal Gates. We weren't going to talk about it, but we have to talk about it. So we'll be bringing you the most up-to-date news as it happens week after week, and I might talk about portals. I mean, because they're a thing, right? Well, but seriously, folks, without further ado, your host, the Reverend Jeff Kelly.
The encounter could create a time paradox, the results of which could cause a chain reaction that would unravel the very fabric of the space-time continuum and destroy the entire universe.
Oh, that's right. That's right, everybody. We are live on the Squatchers Lounge podcast, and I am indeed your host, the Reverend Jeff Kelly. And with me, as always, is the pseudoscience doctor of postulation, Dr. David Batdorf. How you doing, buddy?
It's the Libyans!
The Libyans are scum. They figured out. I don't know how they did it, but they found me. Run, Marty!
Yep, this is going to be a good episode.
It is going to be a good episode because we're going to treat it the way it's supposed to be treated. That's right. And as always, we're going to start off with the news.
And now for the Squatchers Lounge news, bringing you the most up-to-date topics from across the interwebs week after week after week. The Squatchers Lounge podcast. Let's get nosy.
Let's get nosy. That's right. We're going to thank our sponsor once again, our newest sponsor, Dr. Squatch Soap Company, drsquatch.com. Step into the shower, escape to nature, get some. That's right. David's telling me he's already gone through a bar, boy. Pow! 2 weeks down. Talk about natural soap. How's your skin feel, buddy?
Amazing. I'm mostly washing my groin area with the Squatch soap. It seemed natural and appropriate.
Yeah, exactly. You got to wash that grundle up with a good soap. You know, you can use the rest of that chemical crap on the rest of your skin. But
the pine tar is a nice exfoliant for the underneath parts.
It definitely does. The sand or the oatmeal or whatever they've got in there is fantastic. 8 masculine scents. That's right. This is not your chick's friggin' soap. Check it out. Dr. Squatch Soap Company. Thanks for sponsoring the show, guys. Okay, first up tonight, WBIR.com says, well, this guy was attacked by something, but it definitely was not a bear. Apparently, this guy had, well, I lost my video a bit here somehow, but that's okay. This fellow had reported that he had been attacked by something large and hairy and dark brown and supposedly had puncture wounds and all kinds of things on him. But when they got him to the hospital and had him checked out, apparently none of that was actually true. Worst website ever, WBIR. You people suck. Anyhow, the officials are saying that he was not attacked by a bear. All of a sudden, the Bigfoot world goes, oh, it wasn't a bear. It must be that damn Sam Squanch. That's right. It has to be a Sam Squanch.
It's got to be a Sam Squanch. I mean, if it's...
Boys, what if it's a Sam Squanch? It could be. They don't exist, Bubbles. Julian, you try telling that to all the people that got eaten, the dirty bastards.
That's right, got eaten by them dirty sand squanches. I swear to God, the website. All right, so we're going to just get rid of this because it's a piece of crap. Anyhow, the guy was not attacked by a Bigfoot. He's probably got a mental condition, and that's what they were alluding to. But in the Bigfoot world, all of a sudden, everything's a Sam Squanch. Next up.
Goddamn Sam Squanch.
Sam Squanch. You try telling it to everybody's been eaten by the dirty bastards. Okay, yeah, the Bigfoot CFZ.blogspot.com reports a Russian boy claims he's found a Sam Squanch. That's right. A schoolboy on a camping trip in Siberia. Who takes a camping trip to Siberia? I don't know. Has found a massive footprint of what could be the mythical Yeti. Russian media has claimed, of course, they always claim, Denis Alexandrov, 12, noticed the alleged sign of Bigfoot on the early morning walk with other children close to his tent in the mountainous Shakursky National Park. Isn't that the same place that those other little kids found the snow, got the snow video with the big boxer came out to the house during that hoax of a show, Bigfoot Files?
I'm not sure if that's the Shakursky National Park, but it's definitely, it was in the that thing.
Yeah,
the
Kemerovo
region is very important to the Siberian.
The print was twice the size of a man's foot, and his father, Andre, which is like the strangest spelling I've ever seen, 49. I am not into hunting, so I understood a bit. Oh, I am into hunting. So I understood a bit about footprints, and he says he does not believe in the Yeti before he witnessed a giant mark in the clay. I mean, look at the foot, dude. I mean, seriously, it's like, who went out there and drew it in the mud?
I mean, with that kind of substrate, you would expect it to take a really good print, but I don't.
Hair. I mean, and look at where's that big toe going? It's like people with them cross eyes, where one eye looks that way and then one eye looks the other way. Where's that big toe going? That's a long way out there from the heel, don't you think?
Well, yeah, but it's also just like right there, and that's the only place that it was. Like, at least the other ones, they had like good sense to, like, smoosh over the other toe or whatnot. But we're probably back
on these poor kids, I think. Anyhow, you can check that one out at bigfootcmc.blogspot.com. That's where I found it. Anyhow, 60,000 antelope die in 4 days, and no one knows why. Well, actually, since this article came out, they do actually know why. It was a bacterial virus that ran through the herd. 270,000 is what they started with, and 60,000 is what they lost to this stupid type of a virus that runs through a herd. David, that's kind of scary, man.
That's what and that's one of those pivotal points for, like, this is an already somewhat endangered species, like a pivotal point where they could potentially lose that species, but based on that sort of loss, it's pretty intense.
So wash your hands before you play with your antelope.
Yeah, well, but this is something that's naturally occurring, and it went widespread. The conditions were right to grow this. I forget if it was a viral or bacterial infection.
Bacterial.
Yeah, it's a bacterial infection in the
microbes,
stomach.
which is such still mystery. And the thing about this is we are in the middle of a megafauna die-off. We are watching before our eyes these large mammals dying off of this planet that will never be here again. Think about it. Since we've been on the planet in the 70s, man, we've lost dozens of mammals that are just never going to be around again.
Yeah, well, and things like this. I mean, this unforeseeable, stresses like this, where the conditions are just right to grow this thing, and everything's going to die. Yeah, there's some really poisonous algal bacteria. Well, I don't know if it's a bacteria. It's an algal bloom that's basically a toxic algal bloom that's happening off the west coast right now, in the northern regions. It's going to cause a lot of havoc. No, it's not a red tide. This is something a little bit different, and it's something that basically only the seals and probably cetaceans like killer whales are going to really have anything that's eating this algae, the fish that are being fed on, and it only affects the toxins. It's a neurotoxin. It only affects mammals, and so that's going to be a really terrible thing to see. So these are conditions, whether or not you're going to admit or believe that they're man-made or whatever, or situations like this happens. And there was another article recently where they were trying to revive a virus from the early ice age that killed off a lot of, like, potentially could have killed off like the mammoths and things like that. and like, well, maybe no. Like I'm against cloning a mammoth, but I'm even more against reviving a deadly disease that took out half of the megafauna in the northern hemisphere.
Right. Let's revive this so we can study it, so it never happens. It's already dead.
Like, we got enough problems
again.
Yeah, we got enough problems with polio and shit right now. We don't need to worry about like extinct
crazy ass people that don't want to vaccinate their children and then want them to go to public schools.
Yeah, but we're gonna also have to worry about ice age viruses that killed off the large No.
Especially now that we're digging stuff out of the friggin' mega ice there in Russia and bringing that crap back to life and autopsying it. There's all kind of bacteria that the world hasn't seen wrapped up in that crap too. Not in however many thousands of years it was been buried in ice. It's kind of scary crap. Let's move on to something a little bit more scary.
Yeah, story.
Unfortunately, off track episode 1, London Volume 1. Clipper Ackman posted up this YouTube video the other day. Toby Johnson, which I believe was the guy that actually discovered the London trackway, and I actually believe that is actually correct.
It was first reported to him, and then,
one way or the other, right?
Yeah,
well, basically,
sounded the alarm. Yeah.
This is starting to play just the tip. But David and I have been kicking around for years, now that we had lots of support for the London Trackway. It looked good. The people that we trusted that were in the foot business said that it looked good. The people who were in the cast business said that it looked good. The people that knew Bigfoot tracks said that it looked good. And then the more they looked at it, the more they scanned them, the more they started fooling around with them. And it got to be 50-50. And that's where Cliff has been in public so far. They could be real, but we're starting to wonder because there's some markers. Well, in this particular video, Cliff actually admits now that he's been doing some testing with some wooden cutout foot tracks that are leading them more towards this being a hoax. So it's time to get just the tip of the penis. It's okay. If you don't like it, I'll pull it right out. Well, unfortunately, I have a feeling the shaft's going to fall right in after this. We're going to get right into the hilt. And within too much time, we're going to have why the London Trackway is a fake. And now we want to know who did it and why.
Yes. And one of the things about, obviously, first off, it took Cliff a lot of time to do the analysis that he wanted to do on the Trackway. And because he's a busy man, he's doing a filming schedule, but also the notoriety of him being on television has left him open to multiple people trying their hand at getting one over on good old Cliff B from Finding Bigfoot.
The LB Trackway.
The LB Trackway and this London Trackway. Who knows? Is it the same perpetrator? I mean, it's close enough in proximity. I mean, you can drive from one spot to the other in a day. Was it a different perpetrator? It's very, very telling of kind of how the subject is treated from the inside and outside, because the Elba Trackway was an inside job. It was somebody who at least used to be very active in the Bigfoot community and active going out and doing quote unquote research that decided they were going to pull one over on one of the big guys on television, so that's interesting. That it'll be interesting to see what comes out of this when it's all said and done.
That is correct. So you can check out the link at cliffbarackman.com, or you can find it on YouTube by searching for it. It was actually a very good watch. I enjoyed it myself. Okay, KTVZ.com, Central Oregon news leader, says Dr. John Day Fossil Beds finds last non-human primates in North America. Kimberly, Oregon, recently discovered fossils at Oregon's John Day Fossil Beds National Monument reveal a new species that scientists believe was the last non-human primate in North America. They said that on Thursday. That's right. The small lemur-like animal is believed to have crossed a land bridge at the Bering Strait about 29 million years ago, according to Dr. Joshua Samuels, John Day Fossil Beds National Monument chief of paleontology. What do you think about that, David? Is the Bigfoot the last primate still a non-human primate? I don't know.
It's up for debate. Most people say they're exactly human. No, but also in those genetic testings, lemur DNA did come out, and this is definitely no wait, stop it right there. The lemur-like. Why do people keep using that? Use the word freaking prosimian. A lemur. Yes. Is a prosimian. It's not a simian like a monkey, but it's a prosimian like a tarsier and other things that like it's a slow loris, so while like lemur like just means it's like the things that are prosimians in Madagascar. You could say right. It's loris like, or you could say that's ridiculous. Anyway, so
here's that magical land bridge again.
Yeah, 29 million years ago. In my lookings, I haven't gone back that far. It was more like in the last 3 to 4 million years is as far back as I've ever looked at land bridges. But that happens a lot. And you think about how plate tectonics work and how we've been moving around and probably was open more often. But the interesting thing is that this prosimian would have been in North America at the same time as the quote-unquote New World monkeys, which are actually technically older than older in genes than the Old World monkeys.
Yeah, so, what is wrong with people? You damn old British scientists, F y'all, okay? Y'all just Just F everything up with this new world and old world shit.
Just because you didn't discover the Americas for a long time. But they would have been on the continent at the same time, even in North America, when we had simian primates. But the simian primates then get sequestered down south, yada, yada, yada. That whole thing happens. And these guys, apparently, like several million years later, are still there. These guys are still there when our common ancestor was splitting from the orangutan. That's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, that's a long ass time ago. So you can check this one out at ktbz.com. Yep. Okay, so the Bigfoot.wordpress.com update, the unholy update. We got 2 of them this week. On the 2nd, he received a heretofore unprecedented response to his item. The bidding is up to $7,500. He knows the Bigfoot community wants a peek, but he's not doing this for the community. He's doing it for his own peace of mind. Sounds like he's doing it for his pocketbook. And the bidders have seen the samples. Perhaps one of the bidders let something slip or wasn't who they said they were, because I'm getting threats of litigation from people who so he does have a leak. I suppose no matter, it will drive up the price. The booch. And next up, it says, I have just received $9,000 bid on the unholy folder. The bidder received a scrubbed sample. The names were all removed. The bidder is not a Bigfooter, but is very familiar with the community. Dun, dun, dun. $9,000. Are you kidding me? Something tells me that somewhere, somehow, some lawyer is going to get involved in this, and this guy's never going to see a penny. I didn't get a scrubbed copy. I mean, geez, whatever. But you know, there's people who know what is in here. Those people are either bidding these ridiculous amounts of money, or somebody really wants the tell-all book rights, or somebody's just trolling the hell out of the booch.
That could be too. However, yeah, so the plot may thicken, but you know, $9,000 is a reasonable amount of money. You know, I don't have $9,000.
Could you blackmail $9,000 out of somebody with this folder? I bet you could. You bet you get your money back and then some. But see, that's against the law. But then again, it depends on where they live. I mean, we're assuming, you know, somebody in America is going to buy this, but if somebody overseas ends up buying this, our laws don't exactly apply to them. So if they live in a country like, you know, Singapore, like our buddy Peter Liu, you know, I mean, Singapore's going to be like, look, we got 1.9 billion people on this island. I don't know who this person is, and neither do you. So good luck. Let us know when you find them, and we'll go talk to them. I mean, seriously, it's like, that's absolutely crazy. So good luck on that for sure. And wrapping up the news tonight, we got the general relativity at the beach. That's right. What happens when you put a couple of coconuts in a hammock and spin it around really freaking fast? It's time travel. Tell us about this one, David.
It's not time travel. It's the warping of space-time. This is a beautiful, like, 1 minute, explanation of the theory of relativity. General relativity, E equals mc squared, Einstein. And it's beautiful because they just drop all of this stuff into this flat thing, and everything that has more mass pulls down on the hammock / space-time, and creates a path for everything else to travel down towards it, which explains gravity as a function of space-time. And you're like, I almost get it. Yeah. But that goes exactly into what we're going to be talking about, where you know, space-time is a bendable, stretchable thing. You guys should, anybody who's interested in portals, wormholes, and the ripping of fabric of space-time itself should look at this, because you'd have to put something pretty heavy in that hammock if you knew the laws of physics, and I really don't. And
I would love to play.
It would take
video
something
from
like
you, but
dropping a black hole into that hammock to rip the fabric of space and time mathematically, but we still haven't proved that in actual physics.
The encounter could create a time paradox, the results of which could cause a chain reaction that would unravel the very fabric of the space-time continuum and destroy the entire universe.
Well put, Doc Brown. Well put, Doc Brown.
That's right. That's how you go. And we want to thank everybody for our other sponsor, treasuredmetaljewelry.com. Look for all your precious metal looks, needs. treasuredmetaljewelry.com. treasuredmetaljewelry@gmail.com is the email address. And they are running a special contest that we're announcing it on our show, of course, running until the 29th of September, the Silver Bullet Contest. That's right. One first place winner will get 2-ounce replica of a .308 caliber bullet. That's right. It makes a great charm to hang around the neck. It's kind of heavy at 2 ounces, but that's 2 ounces of solid silver, with a runner-up second place prize of 1 solid silver ounce of a .45 ACP caliber bullet. That makes a great one, because I've actually got one right here on my desk that the man sent me as a sample, and they are fantastic. And then there will be 3, count them, 1, 2, 3 runner-ups with a copper .45 caliber replica round, and that's the same round as the silver one is. It's just made in copper. So we're going to announce the total of 5 winners on the air September 30th on the podcast. So you won't want to miss out. You want to go to treasuredmetaljewelry.com/silver-bullet-contest .html if you want to go there directly, or just go to treasuredmetaljewelry.com and click on the Silver Bullet Contest button right there. Just click on the button, put your name, your email address, and your subject. Go enter me, and in the message go, I want to win. Click submit. You know, if you want to get updates from the show, from the website, just click the check here to receive email updates. Otherwise, he's not going to bother you. It's enter the contest and win, people. Tell him Reverend Jeff sent you. He needs to know where the heck everybody came from. You know, they got all kind of bracelets and necklace styles. The website is coming right along. The black leather with the good silver clasp. We've got a couple of those that came in that are really nice. So you can check out the website. There's some new pieces up there for sale. He can make coin pieces, all kind of great stuff. Go check him out at treasuredmetaljewelry.com. And while you're out there checking that out, check out squatchitall.blogspot.com. That's right. It's the Squatchers Lounge podcast blog. We've got it going on up there, but there's not a whole lot going on besides what's really going on right here now. But we're going to be updating soon. The 5,000 subscriber mark is about to get punked. That's right. The Squatchers Lounge podcast is about to get big time. So hang on to your seats, people, because Bigfoot Campfire Stories is coming back. I'm going to have retro real Bigfoot encounters coming back. We're all waiting just for that 5,000 subscriber mark. So go tell your friends to click subscribe. And as soon as we hit 5,000 subs, which should probably be next week, the whole floodgate of content starts to open to you guys. Don't forget to check us out on Monday nights as well for Bigfoot Entertainment Weekly. Holy crap, last week we did Bigfoot, the Lost Coast tapes, and we had Rowdy LaRoche Kelly. That's right. The man that actually played the part of LaRoche was with us on the podcast last week, and it was a hell of a lot of good time. What are you thinking over there, David, sir?
I really enjoyed the episode. Like, it's fun. It's always fun when somebody has like the inside scoop of like the backstory of how something went down, like, and the story of the making of, you know, it's totally fun to watch that.
And it was a lot of fun to hang out with Rowdy. We sat there for about an hour, and it was absolutely fantastic. I think.
And now I'm really just distracted by the graphic that I can see. I don't know if everybody else can see that, but just
no, they can't see that quite yet. That's right. It's time for our tip of the week. And now it's time for Rules to Squatch By with your old pal Wes.
Number 3, approach with caution. Hippies aren't what they used to be, folks. I mean, let's face it, they're not even what they're like on TV or in the movies. Hippies nowadays are walking around with machine guns and machetes and are ready to make you one of the chapters in David Pilati's new book. So just be careful out there. I mean, go ahead, snag a nug or two and have a good time, but just don't get greedy and just be safe. Come check out my recent work and my art for sale at weslosner.com. Stay squatchy, my friends.
That's right. That's your old pal Wes, my co-host on Monday nights, Bigfoot Entertainment Weekly. Man, those shows are actually really picking up with views, and we thank everybody that's watched them to watch them a little more. Tell your friends. It's going to get a whole lot better. This week we're going to do Strange Wilderness. That's right. Steven's on. Crazy bunch of guys go out looking for Sasquatch to save his TV show. Going to be a lot of fun.
Nice. Now it's time to talk about, well, God, is it really time to talk about that? It's pretty much time to talk about that.
I guess it's going to be time to talk about that.
Oh my God, boys. We are officially dealing with a fucking Sam Squamch.
That's right. It's time to talk about Portal Gate 2015. Okay, guys. So here's what's going on. We use that word loosely, like we give Dr. David Batdorf a title over here. Dr. Matthew Johnson, as Richard would say, the cunt. He's flipped his wig. Okay, just straight the hell up. Last year, now this is the only time it's happened so far that we've heard. Last year, while Adam Davies and John Carlson were on site with Matthew Johnson and his then, I guess, 12-year-old kid, a magical portal opened in the South Oregon habituation area.
Soha!
Apparently, 2 portal squatches were guarding the portal. You shall not pass. With glowing little beady eyes, we're standing there, keeping them from coming into the portal. No, you can't come into the portal. No, you can't come into the portal. And Dr. Johnson saved the world by flashing his flashlight at it and shutting the portal down. Now, these are the facts of the case, people. I'm not making this up. These are his words. Okay, this is how he says it happens. He was sleeping while Adam and John were battling these demon squatch portal gate operators. He was sleeping, and a Sasquatch came to him in a dream and told him how it all worked. That's right, people, that he just needed to use his little beamy flashlight to shut down the portal gate, and the little demon Sasquatch people will go away. How is a grounded, solid man in biology? Biology is everything works the same. Yeah, humans can't walk on water, but there was this one guy. Yeah, okay, there was that one guy, but you try your fat ass to walk across the water and you're going to sink. Okay, that's the way that works out. So, yes, the world does not work on exceptions. The world and biology works on generalities.
Rules.
Exactly. It's the way it happens. There's a reason that everything on this planet has 2 eyes. There's a reason that everything comes in 2s on this planet. But David, talk to us a little bit about that end of it, dude. I mean, seriously.
So the whole idea of, like, I assume we're going directly into the portals here. Like, portals are like.
Let's start there. Yeah. Tell me what is a portal? I can't quite figure that out.
There's many different versions of what people might think portals are and what they're good for, and why you would even need a portal, but most of them are based in science fiction. Here, let's just put up some screen share so I'll let you walk through the Wikipedia. That's my reminder for all this. Like, so the interdimensional hypothesis is actually a hypothesis that was basically trying to justify how UFOs could be here and there at the same time. We can't find them, they're so far away, but there's so much easy access to our planet, to have propagated the human species, yada yada, whatever it was, ufologists such as Jacques Vallée, etc., talking about the different realities and dimensions and different aspects of the universe and interstellar travel, which when you're talking about multiple universes, you're not talking about interstellar travel, because interstellar just means from star to star, which means from a long way away, which is not what this sort of many worlds and interdimension, like the multiverse is not based on a multitude of stars. Our universe is based on a multitude of stars, and that still has the same constraints of, you know, distance, space-time, mass, and all of these other physical properties that we live within in our dimension and our reality on a regular basis. So interdimensional beings, like, you know, is a type of theoretical or a fictional entity, fictional, that's in every single part of these, because there's these theoretical mathematical equations that people use of how to modify. This is a great how to move objects through space-time by modifying space-time. A great, you know, the whole warp system, and how, you know, you can create a sinkhole and like an upwelling and a sinkhole at the same time, and drive yourself forward with the pull of space-time, like modifying that. It's a great, you know, a theoretical thing. We haven't figured out how to, quote unquote, do that.
Right. We're still bound by these problems of physics.
But that's how to move us through a physical plane in which we live, and is defined by the E equals MC squared. Something as simple as, it seems simple, but it like, so we live in a, you know, the whole idea of space-time is always described to us on a two-dimensional plane, and the stretching of a two-dimensional plane, but that actually happens in a three-dimensional world, and that's where your mind just explodes, and you can't really understand it until you study it for many years. So, but the whole quantum mechanics of this makes sense on a two-dimensional plane, but we can't do that, and, you know, mass in and of itself is not enough to really make this happen. So you start to go the implementation of interdimensional portals. There's this wormhole theory. Wait, the Star Trek universe has this wormhole theory where you can break from one place in space-time, bend space-time to the same location, and end up in a different place in space-time, which could have a difference in distance and time. You know, time travel and distance travel are both equally accessible in this fictional universe.
Okay, are we getting to the point where I need a DeLorean at 88 miles an hour yet?
Well, no, what you need is some like a dilithium crystals in a warp drive at this point. And
ion engine.
Yeah, pretty much. So, okay, so this
Starcraft universe.
This is what we're talking about in the interdimensions, and how to travel in between dimensions, and in the even the fictitious Star Trek warp drive, where you or wormhole ideals, you're in the same universe, you're just bending that universe in onto itself with a force equivalent to the energy that's needed to, like, from a black hole. This is like Stephen Hawking is really, like, you know, it's an interesting theory for him, because is there enough energy to actually bend space-time around this? Because we know that space-time can be bent based upon mass to create a hole to travel from one spot to another simultaneously. And in space, that could be very far apart, but in time, you're in the same spot, because anyway, very complex thing. We're not going to talk about this. This is Sasquatch. We're talking about Sasquatch.
Portal. Come into the Bigfoot portal.
So so we're talking about multiple dimensions. We're talking about shifting.
Yeah, they say that they can see through the portal on the other side, completely different types of vegetation. The sky was a completely different color with different weather altogether. So they were definitely seeing something beyond where they were.
Which we're getting there. Let's do the many worlds interpretation, which I have up right now. Like this is what they're talking about, is living in basically in multiple universes concurrently in the same space, which is something that goes completely against our laws of physics in our universe. Is not even as much, like, there's some quantum ideas about this, but the quantum ideas also have to do with really complex ideas of paradox in the mind. Like right over here, we have Schrodinger's cat. which is a very important thing. So there's two deadly substances in a box with a cat, and the cat could die at any time. While the box is closed, your mind experiences two different realities. One is that the cat is dead, and one is that the cat is alive. And so you can the universe at that point, or your reality at that point, which is your universe, is actually split. But they are equally real. That's very important. Like, the cat could be dead, and you're going to, you could, say you were emotionally attached to this cat. You could be crying because you don't you don't know. The cat is dead. The cat is alive. The cat is dead. The cat is alive. You're not sure what's happening. This is what we call a paradox in your reality, the paradox in the universe, because the universe is our reality, or our reality is the universe, whatever you want to say. This is all really weird stuff I'm talking about. I'm sorry. But so, I mean, basically, there's multiple instances of this multiple world idea, but it all has to do with points of variability. You throw a 6-sided die down, there are 6 options. There are 6 parallel universes that could stem out from that, depending on what the outcome of the roll of that dice was.
Holy Christ, we got to stop all these nerds from playing Dungeons and Dragons. They're throwing 32-sided dice, creating 32 damn paradox worlds.
20-sided die plus 4 hit points. No, I mean, like, this is so.
Mine is 6 for the French.
There's all these, like this up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Like, you can have in one possible idea, if it reoccurs, you could have 8, and then more like 32.
That's what I'm saying. By the time you get done through one dungeon, you've thrown that 20-sided plus that 6-sided die how many damn times?
Okay, so when they're talking about alternate realities and alternate universes in this theoretical way, they're talking about possibilities, and they're talking about our way of perceiving that, as much as they're talking about mathematics.
Okay, so they're not actually creating, 32 other universes. They're creating 32 paradoxes in their brain until the die settles on a number, and they can decide which number it is.
Somebody can stop the screen and read this whole thing. But thus, after 3 measurements, the system can be regarded as a quantum supersupposition of 8, which is what we see here after these 3 moves, equals 2 times 2, 8 equals 2 times 2 times 2 copies of the original system. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about a different realm to live in a lot of the times. We're talking about the possibilities and dimensionality of our perception, and anyway. So this is very. I'm not really going to go into it. I'm just saying that you're not jumping through a wormhole at this point. So the multiverse is a hypothetical set of finite possible universes, including universes we consistently experience.
My head's about to burst.
Yes. So the parallel universes is the structure of the multiverse, the nature of each universe.
Michio Kaku is in here.
Yeah, probably Michio Kaku is in here. Within it, the relationship among the various constituent universes depend on a specific multiverse hypothesis considered. Wait, you read that backwards. It basically says that we experience one universe, and all of the hypotheses consider like the hypothesis. Is what this says. You have to understand that there are these various outcomes.
I am so lost in how this happens to work with a flashlight and 3 hillbillies and their nut jobs in the mountains. But okay.
So if we go back through this, interdimensional travel from one area to another, interstellar travel is what we're really talking about. We're not talking about dimensional. Like the dimensional travel would be from one outcome to another based on the multiverses that we're talking about, based on this, based on that. If you're talking about some sort of stacked these stacked universes, bubble universes, every disc is a universe, but this talks about the universe that we are living in, and these talk about the universes that we are not living in. and one rubbing up against another still requires interstellar travel because there's space and time involved, and they're not concurrently inhabitable. So what we're going for? Like we're back to Schrodinger's cat.
Yes, we sure are. The
So
cat's dead in the box.
real
It's
and
over
not
it.
real, and you can turn it off with a flashlight. Okay, so and a lot of people are like, oh well, they said wormholes are like a thing now because they sent an electromagnetic field through space, and no, they set it up to where the electromagnetic field was not detectable from one end of a sphere to another. It was very much a real thing, and it very much was there, but it was not detectable. So you could use magnets for whatever reason you needed to use magnets or microprocessors within this electromagnetic field. This is really important in space because you could create, like the Earth has an electromagnetic field that keeps it safe from radiation from the sun. So what you could do is use an electromagnetic field within a sphere to use, magnetic processes in computer processors and other things to keep that safe, to keep our satellites safe in the case of sunbursts. Ta-da! It's great. They did not create a wormhole. They did not bend space-time to the will of the sphere, if you will. They do not have enough they don't have enough mass. They don't have enough, of this theoretical energy, this general energy to do that. So the question is, how is Sasquatch supposed to phase from one reality to another
1.21 gigawatts.
when by the alternate reality theory that was basically brought up somewhere like between the fightings of the science fiction ufologists and the science fiction quantum physicists, argues that you cannot have an alternate reality or a separate universe next to a concurrent universe, because the universe is expanding. It has mass, it has space, it has time, it has space-time, it has all of these other things. So you can't have something else within that that's not noticeable unless we're talking about dark matter, which is something totally different, and it works within the physics of space-time, mass, time, space. Okay, right. So why are portals just so easy to hop? Why can you turn them off with a Duracell freaking flashlight? You cannot. There is no possible way that that's going to be affected by a flashlight.
That is correct. And you know what? We're going to wrap up this edition of the Squatchers Lounge podcast with that, and we'll save hands and feet for another night, because it's already that time, my man. Holy crap. Portal Gate. What? Okay, so let me get this straight. These time traveling interstellar beings created a wormhole that landed in Soha, and these Portal Gate Squatch were guarding the humans to not go into the portal so they don't end up in whatever space-time universe the Portal Squatch came from. Is that where we are?
By one theory of it, there would be so much mass at the point of that portal that it would rip the earth in pieces and we would never have existed. The second theory, there could never be a commingling of the two universes because they are predicated on different decisions until we can bend space-time to bring them back together, and you meet your mom. And she has and she rips the fabric of space-time apart with your underwear. Okay, so Back to the Future.
That's right.
But they did run for it, Marty.
The encounter could create a time paradox, the results of which could cause a chain reaction that would unravel the very fabric of the space-time continuum and destroy the entire universe.
That's right. That's going to do it for this edition of the Squatchers Lounge Podgate. That's Podgate. I'm stuck with it, people. Look, it's not that I can't believe. It's not that I don't want to believe. It's just that it doesn't work. Okay? It doesn't work, or it would be repeatable. If it was repeatable, then it would be science. If it's not science, I don't know what to tell you. I'm looking for a hairy monkey man running around in the Sierras. I don't know what they're looking for at Soha. Plain and simple, I don't think it's Bigfoot. David, your final thought on it, buddy?
I think the actual paradox comes from the if you understood the concepts that you're pulling from to make this a real phenomenon. The paradox is that it cannot exist within the paradox of the multiple, hypothesis that you're pulling from are at odds, and it cannot exist in that form. So we need Dr. Matthew Johnson to step up with somebody to measure this phenomenon so that we know what's going on, and so we can have a better understanding about the ethereal plane that watches live throughout. Planes, plural, planes.
Has it happened since? Has anybody witnessed it happen since? Are you going to measure it by any means, or are you just going to ask us to keep taking your word for it? Just keep screaming at us that it happened just isn't really going to help your case whatsoever. Put up some proof. Your footprints are great. Yeah, that might be an actual animal walking around. But portals, nobody's going to believe you on portals until you can prove it. And that's really the kind of way we're going to leave it tonight. I thank you very much for watching the Squatchers Lounge podcast. I am for Dr. David Batdorf. I am your host, the Reverend Jeff Kelly, and we say thanks for watching, and may the Squatch be with you. Portal gate.
And if I've learned anything from The Simpsons, tie a rope around your waist and jump into the portal.
That's right. Make sure that rope is good and tied off, though, because Homer never seems to make it.
But he did find erotic cakes.
We are not bashing blues.
Well,
that involves a baseball bat and blood.
An interdimensional baseball bat.
Interdimensional baseball, galactic space travel.
Poppies.
Peace!